Is Peter Thiel at the National Press. It was a little bit long. Remember, this is the billionaire who sank Gawker by bankrolling multiple lawsuits against Gawker. And what are the reasons why we have a free press in this country? Obviously, the First Amendment, but our libel laws are such that if you're the press has more protection than, let's say, in Great Britain. And if you're going to sue a publication, you will get a lawyer who will take your case on contingency only if they think that that case has merit. But if you're a billionaire and you want to destroy a publication, you can bankroll these suits so that the lawyer is not on a 33% contingency or whatever it is, but is actually on retainer. You're a billionaire. I'm going to give this lawyer $1 million and they're just going to handle these cases.
No kidding.
And here he is. This is the Trump supporting Peter Thiel explaining why he bankrolled at least one of these. I don't think he cops to bankrolling the multitudes of lawsuits that he did, but here it is.
I strongly believe in the First Amendment. I believe journalists are a privileged group in our society. They play an important role in getting us information in our system of checks and balances. But these were not journalists.
Well, do you think what happened to Gawker could happen to other news publications? I mean, could wealthy, powerful people seek revenge against a news organization because of something they didn't like and use their influence and money to take them out?
Hold on, pause it for 1 second. Is that Heilman interviewing him? We can't see him. But I like how he doesn't even address the fact, like, what do you mean they're not journalists? Now, the First Amendment is not an issue here, right? Because it's not the government censoring. But this argument that they're not journalists, like, I'm sorry, do you really get to choose who's a journalist here? I don't think so. I come up with my own definition. Here we go.
Wealthy people shouldn't do that. I think if they try, they won't succeed. Gawker was a pretty flimsy business. It was a bad business. It didn't make that much money, but they
didn't make that much money.
All the lawsuits. They lost because of an enormous verdict that came in against them. That's why they lost at the end of the day. I could have underwritten many more lawsuits. That wasn't the problem. The problem was that they lost on the facts.
Pause it. First of all, he did underwrite many more lawsuits. It wasn't just the Hulk Hogan one. And secondly, they got the lawsuit, but they didn't have the money to launch the appeal that most people thought they were going to win.
They weren't even making any money, so that's
no.
First of all,
they were making money, just not a lot of money.
Well, yeah, a lot of none, whatever, all gross.
So people were getting paid, people were getting health care, people had jobs. The owner was making some money.
Yeah.
But not a lot of money. That's the way we define journalism now.
I thought that I was very careful in the Hulk Hogan litigation in picking a lawsuit where the fight was over privacy. We did not even bring a libel action because that was sort of the way I wanted to make clear in the Hogan case that it was not about the media. It was not about the media more generally.
Are you engaged in any other lawsuits against news organizations?
I've been involved in the Gawker case, nothing else. And part of my thought was, again, they were a singularly.
Pause it. Go back. Let's see how he evaded that question. Oh, incidentally, he hid his involvement in this case, right? I mean, so the big principle that he was trying to push, he was a little bit more embarrassed about it until it was exposed that he was bankrolling this. Go ahead.
It was not about the media. It was not about the media more generally.
Are you engaged in any other lawsuits against news organizations?
And I've been involved in the Gawker case, nothing else. And part of my thought was, again, they were a singularly sociopathic bully. My view is that other journalists, other media
Sociopathic
organizations,
bully says
were not
what?
remotely in the same ballpark.
You tell us how you got involved, and especially how and when you got connected to Charles Hardner, Hulk Hogan's lawyer in the Gawker case, and why you did this, secretly.
Well, it was a multi-year. I have to be a little bit careful what I comment on this since the litigation is still ongoing. But I got involved over a number of years, and it was one of these things where, as you got involved, you came to believe in the justice of the case more and more, because there were so many different people that you interacted with who had been destroyed. In many cases, in most cases, it was not super prominent people. It was or super wealthy people. It was people who couldn't afford to do anything. And one of the striking things is that if you're middle class, if you're upper middle class, if you're a single-digit millionaire like Hulk Hogan, you have no effective access to our legal system. It costs too much.
If you're not super wealthy, you can't destroy news organizations that write articles you don't like. I mean, think about it.
I mean, I just don't know how disingenuous that guy. I mean, it's just stunning. Hey, it's Sam Seder. Why don't you subscribe to this channel? You can do so right over here. Subscribe.